Hello everybody. It is 11:30 p.m., a very late Tuesday night. I wanted to drop by here for a few minutes and read an article courtesy of the metrotimes.com about the closing of a very historic building located on Bagley Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. I am speaking of the Leland House, formerly known as the Leland Hotel. It was announced last week that the building may be possibly shutting down due to years of neglect and mismanagement. Well, it was made official this past Black Friday. And what is sad about this is that inside the Leland House was probably what I considered my second home for how many decades? The Leland City Club. You recall I spoke about the Leland City Club a few times on some of our music shows and other programs. I remember all the cool people that I became friends with, all the lovely ladies I've met and mingled with throughout the years, went on a few dates with, the great DJs that DJ'd there, the great music that was played, especially throughout the whole 1990s. Throughout that whole decade, alternative music was the main thing. The alternative we had at that joint, the Leland City Club, was Marilyn Manson, 16 Volt, 9 Inch Nails, other underground acts, Wumpscut being another one of them. A lot of crazy shenanigans went down in that dance floor just as well. A lot of crazy stuff. Not just inside the club, but also out in the parking lot as well. There were a couple of fights, a couple of altercations, a couple of odd incidents. The club had a very strict policy on what to wear, what not to show up with. You can wear what you like, just don't wear any gang colors or any racist paraphernalia, let alone weapons. They frisked you at the door. Men and women got frisked no matter what. And it had this unique rule: no markers allowed inside. That was towards the under 21 crowd. If you're over 21, you'll be written a certain word of the night right here on your hand. And of course, for anyone under 21, you would just get an X. It was revealed a few times that some of the kids under 21 years of age would go to the bathroom, wash off the X, take their magic marker, and write the word of the night that was used on that evening on their hand so they can get alcohol. So when this was discovered, all markers not allowed inside. Well, I guess the term "all good things must come to an end" definitely reigns true on this announcement. I have the announcement here, courtesy of the metrotimes.com, giving out the full details of what's going on with the Leland House. It says here, less than a month before the holidays, the historic Leland House in Detroit told residents that they must leave because DTE Energy plans to cut electricity this Wednesday being tomorrow, December 3rd of this year. The announcement was made to cut off the electricity due to a hefty outstanding debt. Management for the 20-story tower building, which now operates as an apartment complex, notified tenants this past Black Friday that DTE intends to disconnect power, giving residents of roughly 40 occupied units just a few days to move out. Leland House Limited Partnership Company, which owns the building, owes the delinquent bills to DTE and is also behind on a rising water bill. The company asked the utility for a 1-week extension to pay a $43,000 deposit, but DTE declined. Management told residents in a November 28th notice, saying, quote, "It is with a very heavy heart that I write this letter. After exhausting all possible options, we have been informed that the building will be required to shut down effective Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. DTE would not disclose customer-specific information, but said it works with customers to avoid shutoffs. DTE spokesperson Amanda Passage said, quote, "We can share that our goal is always to work with each customer to find a solution before service is impacted. We offer a variety of payment arrangements to help avoid interruptions and put customers on a substantial pay forward." The shutdown threat comes as the city of Detroit accelerates its own legal actions against the blighted property. The Detroit Law Department said Monday it recently secured permission from U.S. bankruptcy Judge Maria Oxholm to move forward with its state public nuisance case despite the building's Chapter 11 filing earlier this month. Oxholm ruled on November 24th that the automatic stay does not apply to the non-monetary portions of the nuisance case, clearing the way for the city to resume enforcement. That case is now back before Wayne County Circuit Court Judge Annette Berry, who issued an order in January requiring the owners to complete emergency repairs. After those repairs were not made, the city filed an emergency notion last week asking Berry to order the defendants to demonstrate why they should not be held in contempt. A hearing is scheduled December 5th, later this week. City officials said that they will help residents relocate after obtaining consent from the Leland House's attorneys to allow Detroit's Housing and Revitalization Department unfettered entry into the building on Monday to speak directly with tenants and coordinate relocation assistance. The Leland City Club, a popular nightclub known for its gothic, industrial, and techno nights, will also close until more is known. The Leland House's owner is registered to Michael Higgins, a Detroit landlord who died in September of 2023 and never followed through on the promise to put $120 million remotivation that was announced in 2018. In the years since, the building has become mired in lawsuits, code violations, unpaid bills, and mounting debt. The Leland House Limited Partnership Company filed for bankruptcy in early November, reporting $10 million to $50 million in assets and liabilities. The city also sued Higgins' ownership group in 2023, alleging blight, unsafe conditions, and improper building use. Inspectors found broken elevators, smoke detectors that did not operate, heat exchangers submerged in water, and common areas with temperatures in the 40s. At the time, the building cited by the city was not fit for human habitation. A consent agreement stemming from the lawsuit requires the owners to fix the elevators, address safety violations, and bring the building into compliance. But the partnership has struggled to secure financing for the repairs or pay off its utility debts. Birmingham-based Tier Equities LLC, owned by mobile home park operator Ara Darik John, hope I pronounced that last name right, has been trying to buy the Leland House, but stated that the sale cannot move forward until major repairs are completed and the building's outstanding bills are settled. The legal action has been building for months. On August 27th, the city moved to reinstate its nuisance case over the company's failure to comply with the judge's repair order. On November 3rd, the ownership group filed for bankruptcy. The city sought and won permission to proceed with enforcement on November 24th and filed its emergency contempt motion the next day. Meanwhile, the ownership group says it is scrambling to prevent the power shutoff. Louis Ramirez, representing the Michael Higgins Trust and the Leland House ownership, said they've been working for weeks to secure financing to cover the deposit from DTE and fund long overdue building repairs. He stated, quote, a $43,000 payment for a deposit to DTE Energy is due by Wednesday, December 3rd. We requested a 1-week extension from DTE, which was denied. We have obtained financing, but we are concerned the funds for DTE will not be available from the lender by the 3rd of December. Ramirez said management alerted tenants on Friday because without a last-minute resolution, they'll be required to seek new housing. He also stated, our priority is the safety and stability of residents, and we are working around the clock to prevent disruption and to keep the building operational. We will provide updates as soon as new information becomes available. And here's a little bit of history about the Leland House. It opened in 1927 as a luxury hotel. It was once a 4-star destination near the city's grand movie palaces. Over the decades, it gained a reputation as one of Detroit's dingiest towers, operating with some of the cheapest rents downtown, and a long list of safety failures. A 2014 fire revealed that the building's standpipe system did not work, forcing firefighters to battle flames primarily with handheld extinguishers. Today, the Leland's occupancy has dwindled to about 40 occupied units, 40 people in that huge ass place. It still houses City Club, the longest running alternative nightclub inside the former ballroom, as well as a small diner on the ground floor. I remember that diner. It used to be called City Bites. Later the name was changed to Lucy and Ethel's. In fact, I remember a lady named Liz who was a waitress there. Used to talk to her a lot of times. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. If DTE cuts power as scheduled Wednesday, the building will be effectively uninhabitable. Management told tenants they will continue to communicate updates and support throughout this transition. It remains unclear how quickly residents will be placed in new housing, but city officials said that they're doing everything they can to help residents relocate. Reading that makes me sad. Really sad. Not just sad that a historic building that had a very historic nightclub inside maybe no more, but what is even more sad is that Higgins, who I met a couple of times back in the day, never kept his word on improving things within that establishment. When I moved back to Detroit to be with my girlfriend at that time, in later 2012, one of the first options I sought was possibly getting a job in that diner. One of the cool guys who I speak with a couple times, he informed me, no, you don't want to work for Mike Higgins. He doesn't pay for shit. The man has a very bad reputation, making promises and not keeping them. Plus, the scenery within the City Club ain't the same no more. You may remember me speaking about Izzy, one of my homeboys who committed suicide in 1997. A lot of old school City Clubbers like myself do agree that since Izzy's suicide, the vibe in that place wasn't the same, because Izzy was indeed liked by everybody, including me. I spoke about the couple of times that we was there for one another in times of need. Now and then when I go to the Facebook page of the Leland City Club official, it's mostly younger kids out there, cross between goth and emo. It's not the same no more, unfortunately. I know that many old school City Clubbers became fed up with the way things were going. They saw other places to hang out at. One of them in Ann Arbor called Factory at Necto, as well as a small club located in Hamtramck, Michigan called Smalls, where on Thursdays they would host an event called Industrial is Not Dead. IND for short. I don't know if they're still doing it now. I know my sister spoke a couple times about going back to Michigan to visit a few people that we left behind. And I even spoke about checking out that event if it was happening on the week that we show up. Allow me to say something to all the landlords out there, especially the ones who try to keep their promises but fail in the process, you have a responsibility to keep your tenants safe and happy and well secured. If there is a bug issue, don't just spend a couple bucks on a couple ant traps. Hire a pest control specialist. If there's a water leak in a couple of the rooms up there, get yourself a plumber and work on that problem. If there's mold inside one room's roof, don't paint over it. Seek some help about that issue. And this goes out to all the slumlords out there. Especially the one that I had to deal with when I was living in Richmond, Michigan. He didn't want to spend money. He was a Middle Eastern guy who was, basically he believed in putting band-aids over bullet wounds to put forth. Why? He was afraid to spend money. Word had it that he grew up dirt poor and that he's afraid of not having any money no more. He was afraid of spending it because when it's spent, it's gone for good. So, in a lot of ways, he was afraid to spend any huge amount of money because, either way, he was a bum. I'm glad to be rid of him when I left to move back to Detroit. But it just saddens me that all these people, all these land developers don't know how to take care of shit. If you're a landlord, check on the building that you rent to various people. See how everything's come along, whether it's heat, gas, water, air conditioning. Check on your tenants to see how things are going. Don't just show up to collect rent and say bye and head off in your world there and not give a fuck. When you do that dumb shit, shit happens. And what's going on with the Leland house right now is a perfect example. I want to hear from all the people in Detroit City on what they think of this huge mess. I want to know what they have to say. If you're a Detroiter and you're upset and sad by this situation, let me know in the comments below what you think. I'm going to sign off now. Get on the computer and see what kind of music set I could conjure up for my SoundCloud page. Sorry if I fumbled with my words a little bit. Just news like this gets me upset, makes me sad. And when I get into those two moods, it's hard for me to get my words out correctly. Subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button and that notification bell. Everybody take care.